Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing great. If you can see the screen that I'm sharing and if you can hear me clearly this time, please type 3 to make sure how many of us are present in the class. Okido. Merci. Please, everyone, go to all-in-one. And then please go to the part that starts. I guess I have shared the screen. You are not sharing the screen. Joseph, can you see the screen that I have shared? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, Michael, can you see the files that the mouse that I'm hovering?
Yes.
Okay, so why I cannot hear you guys? Joseph, can you please open your mic and say something?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello.
That's an issue. So I can fix it in a second. The speaker should be edifier. Can you please say something again?
Hello, hello, hello. Hello.
Awesome. Lovely. Now I can hear you.
There
Awesome.
we go.
So people at home, it is possible that sometimes you can't see the screen. One of the ways, one of the quick solution for that is leaving the room and just coming back. High probably it is going to resolve the issue. That is one thing. The other thing that I want to tell you would be a question that I received from one of the classmates, and that is, Reza, am I going to get more mark if I do the harder job or, for instance, work harder? The whole idea is encouraging finding, it's like going to a gym. You don't need to put pressure on your spine and start with heavy weights. You know what I'm saying? So pick the one which is right for you, start practicing, and then when you feel comfortable, if you think you have time, you have no other priorities like the other courses tasks, then try the harder question. That's the whole approach. And the more that you practice, the more you are gonna learn. I want to emphasize on one fact, hoping that we have more friends to join us. And that is, I remember I was 20 some and I started practicing guitar. And my instructor told me that, Reza, you didn't practice last week. I was like, I did. I could start from the beginning of the things that you told me and finish all the way to the end. He said that that is not practicing. It's the matter of 500 times or 1,000 times. So that is the whole idea. The more that you practice programs, you're gonna feel more comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna put my phone on airplane mode, not to get distracted. Hopefully, all of us are gonna be 100% here. Let me tell you one thing, let me confess, guys, I didn't have a chance to work on anything. So all these contents that you see, I just copied and paste. So I will have lots of troubles. I very much count on you to help me during the journey that we have today. I'm sure that many of the things I have doubts, so you need to help me to find the correct answer. Are you in? Ready? Awesome. So please, the first one, something that unfortunately, because now I'm not in campus, I had some issues, but I recorded that before. That's the first file too, and that is actually a nice facility that Centennial was kind enough to provide for us. Look at this. If you go and just type working with Centennial class app and you go there, it should be one of the top search results that you're gonna see. And after that, if you click on class app, then in the Dropbox, you are gonna choose centennialcollege.ca, cencol.ca. And after that, your username and password among all the machines that are available. Guys, this is a kind of data center, imagine. These are the servers that they have provided for us. Use the design lab. And if you say OK and full screen, you are going to have a Visual Studio remotely. I'm saying this is alternative number 3. So the best option, yes. And Alex, not a bad idea if you see that. And that is something that happened to me when I wanted to use this and showing to students. I talked to the IT center. If you have been to Centennial, that's block B, the second floor, if you go there, or you can call the IT help desk and they are going to walk you through and solve your issue. There is one security things, and I want you please be aware of that. And that is whenever, if for instance, I have a backup laptop, just in case that for some reasons my computer goes down for our class, I can quickly switch to that. But I never log in at the same time on 2 computers. This is for your security. Centennial has provided something that from 2 different machines, you cannot log in. Just please be aware of that. In that case, they're gonna lock your account and you need to call to IT to resolve the issue and unlock and get the Michael, imagine that I have forgotten to go through the process that you said for Zoom. My bad. Anyway, so I'm gonna write it down. Zoom beep. So I'm gonna resolve it right after the class. Okay, this is something that I wanted to make sure that we have gone through. Again, any course that you have, there should be a server that they support that course content, like the applications and so on. So that Centennial class is going to help you remotely connect, and it is going to be like your computer, just a little bit of delay because of the network. Guys, this is what we call in clouds instance. So they have created an instance for you, so you can just connect and start working with. The other thing that I want you to please download is that data type thingy. So at that PowerPoint. So please download that. Okay, this is something that I said. I received that question. I cannot connect to that. You can just talk to IT and they're going to resolve your issue. Okay, this is just plan C, even not plan B. You can live with online compilers. Okay, so how many of you had a chance to install Visual Studio? If you had a chance, please type 1. So you have Visual Studio on your computer. In that case, you even don't need to go through that path. So simply you can just use your Visual Studio. Okay.
Reza, sorry, I don't see the PowerPoint in the all-in-one folder.
It's not in, or
So the second file is this. Do you see this? Do you? Okay, Alex, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen, yeah.
Okay, so if you go to all-in-one, scroll down, please, the place that number 2's start. the second two, 2B data types. Can you see that now?
Yeah, I see it. Sorry, I thought it was in the zip file. I was looking at the wrong thing.
Don't worry. I wanted to make sure that how far we can get. Then I'm going to make a zip file. So let me just have, that is task 1, zoom. Second, update the zip, update zip. I'm gonna send it at the end of the session, okay? Awesome. So the other thing is, if you please check the other file, the whole content that we are going to cover is in this teeny file. So we are going to cover everything that you see in this. And this is thanks to Michael. Michael Mistral is was a great help. I just gave the whole content and I said nicely, neatly, please classify it for me, the content that we have covered. And I checked with other competitors, Claude, as well as ChatGPT. It provided the content. So if anybody wants to see quickly what we are going to cover today, these are the topics. Anyway, my question for you, what are data types? I told you that I was not ready for today's session, my bad. So I want you to think why we need to have data types. What are data types? Please either Google, search a little bit, and brief me about the data types. Please start, 1 minute. How are you, Kevin? Hi. As always, can we benefit from your plethora of knowledge? What is your opinion about data types?
I'd say it's a group of a grouping for the computer so they can understand how to operate for us. So basically, if we tell them we want them to do a specific function, a data type is like a preset way for the computer to operate for us. If we give them a number, like just for general, we say this is a number, and the computer says, okay, well, I can do X, Y, and Z with a number. Then you're set into that data type. It gets more specific because we know about integers and doubles and floats and things like that. But to keep it general, a data type is just another, for us, we have numbers, we have words. For a computer, it could get even more specific.
My knowledge is not in that level. Can you please downgrade the definition a little bit? Honestly, I try to understand that. Well, so apparently, based on what you said, we have integers, we have strings.
Okay.
So can you please just go a little bit down? What are those types?
What are those types?
Yes.
So if you have an integer is a type of, for us, it would seem like a type of number. For a computer, it involves the value, it's numeric. It would say it's numeric. It would tell you how many values you can store in memory. It will also tell you what operations you can perform on the data type, and it'll also tell you what you can expect. So with an integer, you won't get back a decimal. It will truncate at the decimal and leave you with the remainder in a division operation. And in a multiplication operation, you still won't get a decimal. As an example.
Yeah, I started grasping some stuff that you said, but honestly, very pro. That's a little bit beyond me. Thank you very much, Kevin. Anybody else? Alex, would you please help me?
Sure. So from my understanding, data types are basically ways to store information in the program. So there's different types of data types for each data type. For example, integer is to store textual data, like words. So for example, hello world. Integer is to store whole numbers, not decimal numbers, not complicated numbers, like 42. Um, they're important because um, it forces structure and provides tools for us to manipulate the program. And
That's perfect. And now, Michael, would you please step in and brief, and then I'm gonna just summarize what I learned from you. Yeah.
So just talking about data types. So
Yes.
basically it's when you're dealing with the data, you're specifying what type it is. You know, just like everybody said, you have integers, you have strings, and each data type has separate methods involved as to how you can manipulate the data and whatnot. Yeah, data types is just type of data.
Okay.
I don't know. It's pretty, I don't know. It seems pretty basic.
Okay.
I'm
So,
not, I'm not sure I have anything more to add to what the other fellows have already said. Your
what
data type is what type
Mhm.
of data it is.
Okay. So the thing is, in some languages, we do not have data types, right? We don't show them. Let's see, Maria said a data type specifies what type of data a variable can hold and how that data can be interacted within the program. Okay. So why in some languages, and if we know that, if we get that point, then the rest is gonna be easy for us. I'm gonna ask you everybody, and that is gonna be fun. Just find Colab research and .google.com. So if you just go there, can you see it? If nobody can, I'm gonna type that in the, okay. So I typed it in the message box. So Hafsa said data type can hold and determines the operations. That's lovely. So it means that if you are dealing with integers and you're dealing with, for instance, strings plus sign, the operation that you define would be different. Does that make sense? So for instance, if you say A is integer equal to 2, B is integer equal to 3, then if you say add them together, the result is going to be 5. But if you have first name John and the last name Smith, if you add them together and say John Smith, they are going to concatenate. So it's not going to add like numbers, correct? So that is one of the things that we can understand. But I'm talking about something beyond that. Pooja said in a simple language, a bucket to hold. That's what I was searching for. Okay, so let's everybody start from the end and Pooja's definition. So everyone go to Colab. And is it big enough for everyone to see it? Okay, let's say this is Python. I say A is equal to 10, done. And I can simply say A multiply 2. It is the same as saying print A multiply 2. Huh? Everybody could relate to that. Great. And then I change my mind. I say A is equal to Reza. And I say A again, or print A, and it's going to show Reza. You see how flexible this language is? So technically, you started saying that A is in. Did we mention it? No. Did we mention that it is integer at the beginning and then, I changed my mind, it is now okay. So everybody, can you help me when you don't know the type? These are tiny things that I have forgotten. So what is the type when there is no type? You are not sure about which type. For instance, I want to say A equal to 10, not age or args. A is equal to 10. I have forgotten. What is something that we can use for general thing? Michael, I know you know. Kevin, I know you know. Toby, I know that you know. What's the rest? Can you please help me? What is the type? What is the general type that when you are not sure about what that type is, you are going to use? Please type it in the message box. Okay, ask ChatGPT. This is a question. When we are not sure what type to use, what is a general type that we can use in C# for variables? Okay, I see that there is one team member that joined us with the number instead of name. Is it over phone? Okay. Lovely. We have two. Sean said object, that's correct. Var, Farhina. So Farhina, if I say var, it is going to work, right? Yes, lovely. So I'm going to say after good morning, I'm going to say, show me, what do we call it? A. Does that make sense? So I'm sorry, console Reza. Don't be lazy, type it just. And the funny thing is, if you say CW tab, I do it again, CW tab. So it's going to write console write line for you. I do it again, CW tab, console. That's it. Okay. So now I change my mind. Let's just do it exactly like what we have in, what do we call it? In people who are not capable of opening their you can just move here in online, and I'm gonna bring the code, so don't worry, you're not gonna miss anything. I'm going to replace that, and now I say A is equal to Reza, the same as what I did. And then I'm going to say console write line. I'm sorry, I have to write it. So here it's not gonna work. Write line again A. And if I run it, it is going to switch back to Reza and it's going to print Reza for me. If you agree that it's going to work exactly like what we did here, so please give me a thumbs up, type 1. Mohammed, merci. Who else? Guys, don't hesitate. Don't worry. Worst case scenario, I'm going to give you 0. So please. Excellent. Awesome. And I'm going to run that and it gives me error. Shoot. Sorry, guys. And the reason that I brought it here is because of this. Listen to me, everyone. I bring this guy here and That is why I brought you to online compiler, because I didn't want you to see those squiggly line and say, no, Reza, it's not gonna work. That's the good thing about using Visual Studio. Guys, here when I say var, I say to computer, I am lazy. Everybody knows that Reza is lazy. So you go and find the type yourself. So based on the type that we have, now if you hover the mouse here, it says that I recognize it should be integer, period. I'm not going to change my mind. I have already allocated, right? I have already allocated 32 bits or 4 bytes for integer, and then here you changed your mind, I'm not gonna take it. Does that make sense, everybody? Everybody could relate to that? Okay, and now if you say, okay, so I try to do something at the moment. What is then how it works in Python, you may ask, while it doesn't work in C#. And now I want all of you, please, try your best to find the reason why it doesn't work here at C#, but it works in Python. Study time. Please search. Okay. Anyone has any opinion? Michael, do you want to step in and say about it, please?
Okay, so I asked my bot because I don't have access to all the online web stuff. So basically the difference between C# and Python in this respect is that C# does their types statically, so they determine that runtime, but you can't redefine them, whereas Python does it dynamically. So when it does the types at runtime, they can still be changed. So
Lovely, lovely. Guys, what are the important words that we heard when Michael explained? One of them is a static type. Means that, and it is runtime kind of thing. When you start your program, when you want to compile it, you should already make your mind and not change it, because it's going to be on top of the program, and it's going to design it that way. You're not gonna change anything. So static type. While in Python, we have dynamic type. So we have flexibility for that. And that flexibility has its own costs. So let me give you one analogy, and I want you to always remember that. Imagine that a single person wants to go to travel. They just need to have their knapsack and they can freely move anywhere, just get a ticket and so on, and that would be easy for them. But when a person has a toddler, a couple has a toddler, the amount of things that they need to pack for that toddler would be double, triple times compared to just themselves. You know what I'm saying? So having a huge luggages just for a tiny, teeny toddler. And that's exactly what we have in C# and Python. C# is like that person with a knapsack. Any data that you have is just a small package. While when we go to Python, every variable that you have has a huge luggage. So that is why we sacrifice the performance. Imagine that you have an array of a list of values, because you don't say at the beginning the whole list contains just integers. It's like a gate. Every single person should come and you check the passport and let them go. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, you, next person, next person, next person. That is how it works. That is why the performance of a language like Python, I'm talking Python per se, not talking about Python using other libraries like NumPy or Pandas. Just pure Python has a very low performance. And Python didn't have initially array concept to say that, hey, the whole team here, they only have integers. So that is why C# has upper hand in performance. Compiler language and statically typed language. So if you want to write something about these two, that's what I learned from Michael and the rest of you who shared. Please write these things. Statically typed language and a compiler language that you need to define at the beginning what data types you are going to use. That's a very tough question. If I receive that question, I'm going to say nothing, just ask ChatGPT for such. Yeah. There should be updated statistics. But I try to, so while you are trying to, actually these questions, I'm gonna write it. So I'm gonna learn something. And thanks for asking that question. At the same time, I hope that I can just make something. Please work. Okay, untitled. And if I start typing, can you see that's the whole thing? Yes, I'm the happiest person on the planet at the moment. So if I want to draw something now, I can just draw it. Okay, so listen to me. When we talk about, and now I have the facility, so I can just easily tell you. When we say that, hey, we are dealing with an integer. Guys, we have only one integer in C#, true? Everybody. we have only one. I think that you should be here, guys. Then I can just a second, sorry. Okay. False. How many integers do we have, Kevin? As Kevin said, it is not correct. We have integers that they have 16 bits, we have 32, and we have 64, right? Yeah. And guys, when we talk about 16 bits, imagine that we are talking about something like this. So 8 bits here. What the handwriting? Which is 1 byte. Okay. And yeah.
Reza,
Yeah.
can you see if you could shift the video or the picture a bit to the right?
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Now it is fine, right? Okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay. And when we say that, thanks for letting me know. When we say that int 16 means we are talking about something like that. So it's like having just a basket, right? And with double capacity, imagine that we have something like this, and it's going to be 1 byte, 2 bytes, 3 bytes, and 4 bytes, something like this. So it's going to be int 32. But I don't know the usage of that bits, and I have no clue what are those bits. Guys, yeah, we have 62 as well. It really depends, Kevin. It really depends on the compiler that you work with. If you're working with the recent versions, we have, yeah. And we will talk about all the possibilities. Anyway, how many of you, by any chance, know the concept of bit byte kind of thing? If you know, please type 5. Okay. Among those that they said they know, or those that they have kind of hesitation, can you add 2 binary digits? Can you add them together? Alex, can you teach me how to add 2 binary digits, maybe? Hafsa, can you add 2 binary digits by any chance? Just tell me if you can or if you can't.
I think you can.
Okay, so that's pretty much, I wanted to know how we can just proceed for the rest of the things. Anyway, getting back to where we have started, bytes. Okay, it says that, Michael, can you please do us a favor and read this with your nice voice?
Oh, she's not so nice today, let's say. So data types. We use binary computer. All information is stored as ones and zeros. Consider the bit sequence 0100 0001. Does it represent the number 65, character A, the Boolean value true, double, or string?
There is one thing, there is one fact. At the beginning, we might have some doubts about all these jargon words and cannot relate to all of them. I assure you, after finishing, we are going to just relate to all of them. So stay tuned. Don't worry about all these words. So we'll say that. Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate it. So the simple types, we have integers, characters, double, Boolean, and we have native types, which is just simple types plus strings. In some languages like Python, we just have strings, we don't have characters. we just deal with strings, and we say characters is nothing but a string that has only one member, right? So why should we have that's their understanding. Why should we have any specific? So we are going to have a string of one a member, and we call it character. So for custom type or user-defined types, we are going to learn in programming 2 and programming 3. Just to give you a brief understanding about custom types. Guys, we know if we go to a market, we are going to say, for instance, I want to have 3 pens. So you cannot go and just go to Staples, for example, and say, I want to buy 3.5 pens, right? It's not possible. So you use integers. For instance, something like weight, you go on a scale and you see that, for instance, it is, I don't know, 60.27 kilogram. Does that make sense? So you have the precision, you use double, or you use, and that's, for instance, you want to fill up your tank, and you see that it says the amount of money that you have to pay is $52.33. You see, so it's not going to round it up or down for you. The same, we have characters, for instance, guys, imagine that we only have A, B, C, D, and F for the grade. So they are just only one characters. I'm telling you about the samples that we can use them. But if you want to have the name of a course, you're going to use a series of characters that we call it what? String, right? Listen to this part. What if I want to define a type that talks about Centennial College students? So that type should have first name, last name, the student ID for sure. If they have SIN number, for example, if they are international students, so the regulations would be different. And if they are domestic students, you know what I'm saying? For instance, so that type would not be only integer, would not be because, well, yeah, would not be only string. It would be a combination of all this, and we make a package specifically for students at Centennial College. So custom type designed for one purpose that contains those kind of simple or native types by itself. But we are going to learn them later. Sometimes it happened that you receive a number which is 18 point something. You're going to say, Reza, I don't care about the decimal point. Just give me the integer part. You're going to cast a floating or double or floating point number into an integer. Does that make sense? Sometimes you say, hey, I want to have more precision. You said 20, but 20 what? 20.1, 20.2. I want to have precision. So you're gonna, it's like if I want to show you something. It is, it's exactly like having a tray. Imagine that there is a container in a restaurant. You just use a small portion of your plate, so you can just technically bring it to a smaller plate and fill it like that. Does that make sense? So if it uses 4 bytes, you're gonna say, hey, Reza, wasting the rest. So just bring it to 2 bytes. You might say that, hey, come on, I paid $2,000 gaming laptop and I have lots of memories. So who cares about just 1 byte, 2 bytes? Guys, I'm not talking about just 1, 2. Imagine that you're writing your application and there is a database, and don't ask me what database is. Just a place that we save all the information, as simple as that. Huh? A simplified version of that could be something similar to Excel sheet, but way heavier in terms of number of records that you have. If you have 1 million, then, or if you have 1 billion or 1 trillion, then every byte counts, right? So in that case, you need to be very stingy to find the smallest type that fits the biggest value in your data set. I repeat it. You need to find the smallest data type that fits the biggest value that you have in your data set. Okay, so going to the next part together, everybody, if you please now go to the course contents to ease your job, to accelerate, you're going to see I have provided a file for you and it is mentioned data types code. So please open that. And whoever could open that file, please type 3. Merci. Lovely. Ali Ahmed, do you have Visual Studio? Vidoran, do you have Visual Studio? Please type yes or no if you have or if you don't have. Munib, how about you? Do you have Visual Studio? If you don't have, don't worry. Just type here C# online compiler. And one of the nice ones is the one that has that kind of power sign. Yep. Merci, Toby. Lovely. Yeah. And copy the code here. And please, not a bad idea. Try to watch. Don't worry, we have a decent version that works on Mac as well. So you just need to download a Mac version of Visual Studio. Okay, and the thing is, everyone look at this one, name, what do we call it? Then string A, string B. Just spend a few seconds going through this, run it and see what is the output. Set that ask your name. Okay. You see the same applies here. If I just bring the code. And the good thing is you can easily maximize the, okay. Okay, so guys, one thing. The name should be string because we use alphabets for names. Give me a second. Okay. There is a reason that I brought this keyboard and we are going to use it pretty soon. A keyboard that has numeric pad on the right side. Hopefully it's going to grab it. Right. Okay. So a keyboard has numeric pad on the right side, works for the purpose that I'm going to tell you. Those who do not have any 100 some keys keyboard, don't worry. Just trust what we are doing and everybody is going to confirm that. One question, I'm gonna get a screenshot of the participants. Guys, buckle up. You're going to be on the camera. So look at this one. Imagine that I have this handsome gentleman over there. And the question is, I'm going to ask their names. I place them in this system. I put it in the system. Goma, Kevin, and Joseph. What is the best data type for names? Everybody please type. Then I can just move forward. Strings. Lovely. Bravo. The same for last name. What about age? Can you please tell me? What is the best data type for age? Joseph, bravo. Integer. And everybody, please try your best. Yep. Very precise. Int 16. How about int 32 for Joseph? Okay, so you're gonna see that, guys, we don't have people over, well, at this moment, we don't have people that they live over 200s. So integer 16 would be more than enough. Even byte is more than enough, right? Okay, so how about phone number? I want to have their phone number. What is the best data type? Int 32, who else? Kevin, a string? Do you have any string in your phone? Okay, open the mic and tell why string.
It depends how you ask them to record the number. If you want an int type, you'd have to specify only numerals.
Okay.
So if they were to enter it, usually how you see with dashes or any brackets, or any special characters, it would be better to put a string because it would capture all the data and just convert it to one user.
Lovely. Michael, thank you very much. And after I finish, I want you please to step in and say your opinions as well. Okay, guys, do you see that here we have Goma? I have phone number of Goma. I have phone number of Joseph. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take these two numbers, add them together, divide it by 2, and get the number contact of Kevin. Is it fine? Yes? Is it going to work like that? Okay, so if it's not gonna work like that, then don't use integers. Use characters, use strings. Doesn't make sense. How about SIN number? You know what I'm saying? How about, and imagine that they're going to change the regulations. Maybe later, for instance, they change and add characters into those digits. Like your driving license, now it has a letter, right? So because of 2 reasons, if you don't need to do any calculation, so just don't use just a string. String is a kind of general form. Michael, do you have any opinion, suggestion?
No, that's seems pretty proper to me. If you're gonna have a bunch of mixed
Yeah,
I gotta say a mixed data type, right? Like you got numbers and letters, then yeah, use a string. And if like you said, if you're not performing a numeric action on it, then yeah, string is the way to go. And plus too, if you use a string, you can always extrapolate or whatever, manipulate later if you have to, right? Like you can split it or whatever. So
excellent. Thank you very much. As Michael correctly mentioned, maybe for instance, you want to have 416 in parentheses later, so you can just use those kind of string operators, right, Michael? We're using dash, for example, or adding +1 at the beginning if they don't have any, and make them unified when you want to have a report. So those kind of functions are easy to find in the strings, manipulate and just change them. And again, if you don't need to do any calculations, as again our friends said, addressed Kevin, Michael, so you can just leave it as a string. Okay, So getting back to anyone wants to step in and explain the first line, I'm going to do it like this. Then we can just say, okay, so guys, this line, this one, and this one. What is happening on these two lines? If you want to step in, guys, just let's have a little bit of play with the zoom. You see that there's a heart sign over there. You can just simply click on that heart. You can just show thumbs up. You can just show raise hand. So if you have a question or something, right? And you can cancel your raise hand if you just already received the answer. So if anyone wants to step in, yay, Goma is playing. Okay, so Goma, I took that as the thing that you want to step in and explain, because I said if you are willing to press, please explain this line number 12.
Okay, so I was trying the sum up, but I will explain. So here, we just ask the user to enter their name.
Okay,
Then the code will read their name. The
okay,
second
it
one.
reads the name. It reads the name, as you said, and it is going to bring it into what? Into that variable. Guys, it is exactly like having a container. Give me a second, my apologies. It is exactly like going to Starbucks, and you have your own cup, and they're going to write down Goma on it. Does that make sense? So it is like having a cup and having name on it, and you're gonna pour whatever you want into that cup, right? And the type of this cup, if you want to teach someone, guys, because you're pretty soon, the good thing is, and I'm very proud of saying that, some of our team members, and I'm sure that they are even doing way better than me, now people that they were students and I had a chance to have them in the class, they teach at Centennial. And there are two good things in that. One is Centennial is confident about what they are doing, and people try hard to be qualified to share what they learned to their peers. So why not? Now I'm going to take your question, Joseph, right after this, okay, if you don't mind. So the thing is, if I show you, guys, if you go to, what do we call it, to a restaurant, you're not going to ask to serve the Coke on a plate. You're not going to ask to serve the rice in a cup. The data type should be properly defined for the variable that you want to pour in. Does that make sense? For instance, age, as you all said, the best is int 16, for example, or int 32. But the string, the name should be string, and that is the different container that we would define. And that is why we have those definitions. Yes, Joseph, please.
So my question was for the string name equal console.readline. So I wanted to ask, is it comparable to what we were doing in the assignment where we said, for example, some sort of input, right? And we would say that input equals convert to double, then console.readline. What is the difference between that versus this? Is this a shorter form, a shortcut, so that you don't have to write this whole thing?
Very valid question. Do you remember, Joseph, that I told you that I haven't read the content for today? This is one of them.
Okay, okay,
In
okay.
half an hour, I'm sure that I'm gonna ask Michael to help us, Goma to help us, Kevin to help us, and I'm gonna get the answer, grab the answer, and just bring it to the class.
Okay, okay.
How
So
about that?
I'm going ahead. Sorry. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Don't worry. That's a very valid question. And actually, guys, it was not planned. What we are going to learn is going to be the answer to this valid question in next 30 minutes. Good time to ask that. Thank you. So let's go together and see. We said we have name, we have A, which is not nicely named, guys. It's best to use proper naming. So instead of A, always say num1, num2, or something that represents what is it? Is it age or what? So here I say A plus B and then plus that, and I don't know what is the reason of having that, and plus name plus this. So guys, I'm going to have 2 more exclamation mark to make sure that which line is going to be the output. So if I run the code and said, say your name, so so H is going to be added, so we call it concatenation. So when it sees that, hey, 2 sides, I have A and B, and they are both strings, so it's not going to do any summation, it's going to concatenate. Does that make sense? And the other thing that we have here, what is this backslash Reza? So what is wrong with that? Why we have at here? Anybody can, without reading this, anybody can tell what is the use of having at sign over there?
You're linking your social media?
That's a good one. Well, technically, not only that, but also whenever we want to use backslash, guys, imagine that I don't have this. I'm going to make something, again, say string test, whatever, is equal to, if I say hello from Reza, okay? Hello again, from Reza, to just make it different from the other one. And then if I just say print D instead of C, and I'm that lazy, print test, sorry. Then look at this. Well, we expect, and let me just get rid of the rest. We already know all of those things. If I simply say, hey, print, it's going to show you hello again from Reza. But the thing is, what if I say \n here, and you can simply understand it is going to break the line into 2 and show it like that. So \n has a meaning, right? If I say \t here instead, it has a meaning. It means that make a tab, right? So hello again, tab from Reza. But in other, yes, lovely. When I want to say, hey, you are off the duty at the moment, I don't want you to treat as tab or something. I want you to treat as real \, where I might need it when you want to show \, in your string, when you want to show the path, the way that we have it, as Alex said, in URLs, like, hey, is it a social media or something, Reza? Huh? So when you want to give that personality, that \, is \, not any command or order, you use @ at the beginning. Huh? Okay, so in that case, if I run the code again, you see that it's not going to treat like having a tab or something. It shows that, hey, \t. Does that make sense? Whatever we learned from this, from each other, please spend 30 seconds and write it down. My suggestion is not a bad idea in here. So just press enter and type your own definition.
Sorry, type your what?
Just something for yourself. Take a note.
Oh, about the escape.
Yes, escape characters. Lovely. Yeah. Escaping the escape. I love that. Awesome. Okay. So in the next string, and at the same time, I want you to see, I have mentioned here that we have the code. Not a bad idea. That is why. So this is for slide number 5. Okay. We have that, so you can see the first one, we don't have verbatim. The second one, we use that. One of the ways that you can avoiding or escaping the escape characters is using double of that. For instance, if you say //, it means that ignore the next, ignore the role, just show one /. But I prefer, this is kind of like professional way. Okay. So the other thing that we want to learn is this part. And it is saying that character, it says that convert to, that is what you said, Joseph, right? Oh boy.
Yep, yep.
That's what I don't know. Okay, so don't worry. Let's just see. Guys, it says that it's, what is this guy? It is 123, obvious. So why should I convert it to, not Kevin, not Toby, not Michael, the rest? Can you please help me saying that why I need to convert, for heaven's sake, that 1, 2, 3 to integer? It is already integer.
In my opinion, I think with double quotes is it has been declared as a string.
Lovely, Adewale. I could hear. Double check your microphone because I'm sure that you want to participate and people are going to learn more from you. Double check with one of your team members later after the class. So for next class, if you can just make it, just improve the quality of the microphone. Okay, would be great. What I heard that Adwale said is, guys, because of this double code, right? It says that it is a string. And that is why we need to convert to say, forget about the double code and convert it to string. Alex, you had a question. Do you want to say?
No, it wasn't a question. I just raised my hand to answer.
Awesome. Sorry. I'm a kind of slow learner. Please repeat, and I'm gonna learn from you.
Is basically the default input is always a string, I believe. So when you put something in without specifying it, the program automatically thinks it's a string. Therefore, it puts it in quotations. So we need to tell it that we want it into integer and not a string. So that's how we convert it.
Lovely. Okay, I'm not sure about that part of the code that I try to do, but let's just do something that Alex said. So console write line, please enter something. And let's just say right. And then console dot readline and the thing is still I have a little bit of doubt. So let's say var name equal to or var temp equal to this, and then I'm going to say console.temp dot get type. Guys, is it kind of okay? You might say that Reza, it's a little bit advanced. I copied from ChatGPT, so don't worry. I don't know as well. We are going to discover together. Okay, what's going to happen here? The first thing is it says, please enter something. Okay, something. And let's see what happened. Guys, do you see that? I didn't say temp is a string. Joseph, I didn't say temp is a string. I just typed something. And then I said, can you discover what the type of that guy is? And it says it is actually system.string. Look at this one. Guys, do you see this keyboard? What is the default thing? Are you going to promise always when you want to, okay, we have a company here, Alex, right? So whenever we have something like a keyboard, like this, you cannot promise, Reza, I'm gonna always enter integers or floats or something. The most possible thing is a string, which is going to be combination of numbers and digits. Is it okay? Joseph, is it fine?
Yeah.
So the default is, I just want to answer one part of your question now. The default is a string. So for that one, you don't need to say, hey, check if it is a string or not. Hey, that is the default. That is the widest. It is like we have a concert, and imagine that the concert has 3 types, right? And a normal tickets and VIP and special guests. So for people that they enter to the concert, you are not, and they want to sit in the area that is not VIP, it's for normal tickets. You are not going to check anything. You let them in. But the one who wants to pass and get to either VIP or the special guests, that imagine that we defined 2 different roles for these 2 places. You check if you have that permission, yes or no. Does that make sense? Longer story short, if you want to write something, everybody, the default for what we enter is gonna be a string. And if you want to emphasize that, no, I expect to receive numbers, then you have to convert it. We are going to get to those examples later. Joseph, did I answer partially your question?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. So let's go to the next slide together. I can understand now that if I say, look at this. If I define something, where is the thing here? This. If I define something like that, converts to, imagine that I say int my num01 equal to that thingy. If I just say, imagine that if I just say string 122 semicolon at the end, it's gonna say, hey, the right side is string, the left side is number. I cannot understand. So you need to say, you know what, please just convert it before using it. And that is why whenever, if you say, let me just ask you now, if you say, please enter something there, what is this? The right side is what? Is the default string, the left side is already integer. They are not compatible. You have to pass that gate to come back. So I'm going to say convert dot to int 32, for example, and I'm gonna just get that thingy. And then you see that two sides are balanced. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. So, and if I say console writes line, show me my num1, then it's going to, let me just get rid of this. And we need to be careful this time because we are not allowed to enter anything. It's going to raise error. So now I say 12 and it's going to show you 12. And the reason that you pause there, everybody, you might say that, Reza, what about this? If I don't have that line, it's going to work. Yes, you're right. It's going to work. But look at this. It just show you the whole thing right after finishing. I want to have a kind of relaxed time, see what is the result, and then pressing the key and get back to the DOS prompt like that. Does that make sense? So that read key is going to pause, showing the termination of the program, ready to get something, for instance, space key from the user. Okay. Now I want Munib. Can you please? Yes. True, exactly. Thank you very much, Michael. I love the comments that you share with us. Awesome. Munib, can you please share your opinion about all these lines? Let's just review with the help of Munib together. That's lovely. Okay, Munib is not. Kalena, can you please step in? Open your mic. See, that is the reason that I say open your cameras. Bir de off. Okay. It makes the voice even better, but if you don't feel comfortable, don't worry about it. Evan, you see Michael had a little, I think that's the season for all these things, right? Everybody has a little bit of cough, a little bit of headache. And can you imagine, yesterday, I just opened the window during the night. It was like, yeah, -14. And that was in Sudbury, that's like summer. And then in the morning, I checked my phone and I was like, okay, something is wrong with my phone. It's time to move from Android to Apple, maybe. It showed -30. I was like, that's a joke. Then I went outside and I realized that, yes, that is -30. It is really -30. So guys, don't worry, that happens, but please stay warm and be careful of all those things. Michael, Eskim, how about you?
Hello.
Hello. So please explain these lines for me.
So we ask from the console.write, please enter something. We ask the user to enter something, and then the second line, we put that something that the user entered into a variable named mynum01, and converted it into string.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third line, we tell the computer to write it in the console, the mynum01. And then the last line will just wait for the user to press any key to exit the program.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. So let me just see quickly, guys. I don't want to rush. And I have already defined assignment number 2. And the same way, you have 2 alternatives. And Michael, I have something, a humble request, if it is possible. Would it be possible later just to go through the alternative 2 and see if it makes sense, if it is kind of easier version or what? I want your feedback on alternatives later, whenever you have time. Okay, just quickly.
Alternative to what you're going to show or something already?
Alternative to later when you have time. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I want to have always alternative for students. So please just tell me if it is easier, if it is more fun, or you prefer assignments 2, and the rest as well. Please me.
Okay. You'll ask me later.
Yeah, but later, not now. Okay. So guys, what I learned from our friend, who I cannot see the list anymore. Okay, the schema, I think. The first line said, hey, please enter something. This is what we are going to have on the screen. The second line, this part is going to get something from the keyboard. Everybody agree? And then this part is going to say, hey, convert it to integer 32 for me, because you're going to place it into a cup, which is going to accept only integers. So the 2 sides should be the same type. And then simply I said, write that number. And then this is a kind of pause to see the result, and whenever you're happy with it, just press space, and then you can just go to the next. Okay, by saying that, that's the worst time for updates. So my tablet is just updating. I cannot use the pen anymore. Funny. Going to this, I quickly finish everything in here, and after that, we are going to have a 10-minute break. Can you imagine? We're going to have a break. So this one we already know. How about this? Joseph, can you please explain that part for me?
So you're telling the system to convert it into an integer, but with a decimal.
Okay, awesome. So from now on, we are going to say a double number or a decimal point.
Okay.
And we have 2 types, actually, Joseph. We have float, which is a smaller plate, and we have double, which is a bigger plate. Okay, awesome, lovely. So what about this? And
Reza, sorry to confirm. So technically speaking, for that question, we don't even include integer whatsoever. We just call it double or float, so it doesn't confuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Good question. Look, you see, if you have 1, this is integer. But if you have 1.0, there is a point here, decimal point. Although in math, they have equal values. In 2 places, physics and computer, we do not consider it like math. So, you know, when you say that the purity of one element is 9.0, it is totally different in physics when you say it is 9.00. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of concept in computer as well. So we just have, for instance, 32 bits here, while if we say it is double, hey, reserve 64 bits for it. Huh?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And let's just go to the code because I added some stuff yesterday and make sure that. Okay, I'm gonna just copy, Control C. And yes. Okay. Well, everybody knows that here it is a string of characters when we have double quote, but in this toy example, we just have one element inside of a string, so you can convert it to what? To car instead of the original value, which is string. And here, guys, this is important. This is not number 1. This is not number 0. It's character that you have on your keyboard that shows 0 and 1. Huh? So you can't do any calculations on that. And if you say Boolean values like true or false, it is going to get converted to Boolean and it's going to show you. Let me just show you at the end. The Boolean is the very delicate one. It's very picky. You cannot easily convert Boolean to other types. It's the best is just to be very much careful when you deal with Boolean values. Anyway, so you see that it converts that. And this is some, yes, Michael, that's my favorite. Hey, use 0 and 1. Why bother using that? So if you use T with capital, it does the same job for you. And by saying that, it does exactly the same thing. By saying that, now it is 10:58. We are going to come back at 11:09 to make sure that we have 10 minutes. So we will come back. We will come back at 11:09. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm gonna mute myself, pause the video, and pause the audio. Okay, awesome. There are a few things that I want to emphasize before we continue. One of them is quickly going through the contents that I have provided for the assignment. So if you go to assignment, you see that there is a new folder, assignment 2, and we have assignment 2 data types, the original one, and that's the alternative. And if you see, I have provided 2 samples. I'm going to go through the assignment 2 and show you that here we have sample 1 that I mentioned. Guys, you need to, for submission, you need to have the screenshot of the code. You see that? For instance, I'm having this as the result. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just run the code. And here I have something like this. So I can just have screenshots separately, or I can have them like this. Don't worry, both works. And apart from that, so you see here is the file that I have. I'm going to open a Word document. Here is the Word document. I'm going to paste That one. Do you see this? Is it clear for everybody? Yeah. And then I'm going to copy this one as the code, and I'm going to bring it here too at the end. So I copy the code too, right? Again, just paste it and it's going to show something similar to this. And definitely on top, I have to mention, and to make it clearer, again, I borrowed one example from the students that I had, and they submitted awesome job. So you see here, this is the question. This is how you don't need to make it like, this is why I brought this one to you, because I know that Irene was one of the students who spent quite large amount of time to just make things like this. This is just one example. So you could have the code part, you could have the terminal part there, and you could have the code, the actual copy of the text here too. Is it clear for everybody? If it is 100% clear, please type 2. Excellent. And the thing is, please make sure that you either submit DOC, DOCX, or PDF file. Just imagine that I have zip files. There are some concerns, and I'm going to tell you why many professors, instructors like me, we do not accept. The first reason is, imagine that I need to download the file for each student on my computer and then unzip it and then just bring the code and bring it to, it takes, the whole process takes 5 minutes just to open. While if you see this, you can quickly see it, it takes 30 seconds. Does that make sense? That's one reason. And the other thing is, yeah, multiplied by the number of students that I deal with. So it's going to be quite very much time consuming process. The other thing is the security reasons. The zip files are not safe. For me, the first one is more important, honestly. But in general, please just submit DOC, DOCX, or PDF files. And the other thing that I want to mention is I tune my speed with the feedback that I receive from you. If I see that it's kind of like cumbersome, I try to slow down. If it is boring, I try to. So the deadline for assignment number 2, it really depends on if we can finish everything today. If not, I'm going to postpone it to a week after. So there's no rush. But my suggestion is, guys, before coming to the class, one of the things that you can do, and that would be awesome, is listening to, Narendra is amazingly, he's amazing in defining things in short period of time. So in 10 minutes, you're going to just have a kind of overview. You can come to the class knowing some stuff. Then you're going to just try to elaborate more on every single concept. That's another thing. And the last but not least, I very much appreciate Michael, Alex, Joseph, Goma, Kevin, previously Pooja before the halftime, that you open your camera now, Pooja as well. Feel free. You're not teaching, so if you want to eat a snack or something, but when you open your camera, imagine that what I see, honestly, if I have just one person, even if there is no one, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. The only thing is I'm not going to just ask questions because there's no one to answer. But I do exactly the same thing, even if there is no one. But in general, if you have online sessions with the others, it is very much encouraging your instructor and the other team members to just engage and just have a kind of very fruitful session together. If I look to this side and I see all those black rectangles. Who am I talking to? And I'm not sure that if people are there or they are just logging and doing nothing. So it is very good to keep it like this. Not mandatory, but I just appreciate those who did that. And the other thing is, let me just give you one example. Those friends that they are new in coding, one of the great examples in front of us is Joseph, that he's new to the field. He has knowledge in other sectors, definitely, but this is a kind of new area. The way that he's dedicated, asking questions, engaging, sometimes I don't know the answer, so that's why I just hide behind it. Okay, I'm going to explain it later. That's my trick. So being in the dialogue like that is going to make it dynamic for you to learn and just not to get bored. What are we talking about? Okay, just as a nice example, and let's just continue our journey. If everybody's ready, don't worry. Yeah, can't turn it on because there are people on. Okay, Evan, no worries, but just one suggestion. You can blur your background like me as well. I don't have anything to hide, but it's like, I mean, I prefer to have my privacy, right? But you can just do the same as well. Like Michael, beautiful background that he has chosen. Anyway, let's go to the next part. And this is the part that I couldn't figure out very much. So everybody go to the code part of this. And I think that everybody, did I resume? Yes, okay. I don't say this. Okay. I think that this one, Michael background is not real. No, it is real. Of course it's not real. Okay, it's slide number 7. Like the cat that we had in your screen. It was not real, right? Yeah, the same. Okay, everybody, please just copy this part. Control C, bring it to either online compiler or here. Control V, and then let's just run it and see what is happening. And the good thing is, you remember, based on the question that I received from Joseph, we went through knowing the type. So I bring it here. It says type something, something. And then it says that it is, we get that from the read line, place it inside. Look at this one. Do you see the beautiful, I hover the mouse. It says that, hey, Reza, this is a string. If I set equal to 10 semicolon, it's going to just tell you that it is integer. And this line says the type of test is a string. Age, I'm going to be honest. So it's going to look at this one, Joseph. It takes that string, convert it to what? Integer, and place it to 16. Is it possible that if I just say 16, for example? I don't know. Let me just run it again. A, B, C, 18. And there we go. So it works. Yeah, 16 as well. And now I say A is 4. So A is, can we do anything better than that? Guys, please don't tell that Reza asked us to use ChatGPT. But ask ChatGPT, convert these 2 lines into 1 line. Can you have any idea? And whatever ChatGPT or Gemini, Mistral, Claude, bring the result and type it in the chat for me. Ask ChatGPT, please combine these 2 into 1 line. That is 1, Alex, bravo. That is 1. What else? Thank you, Michael. What else? Bravo. I love it. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Let me just copy. Correct me, Alex. I'm going to use $ here. It should work, right? And say A here. Everybody, it works, right? Right? Pooja, check my code and Alex. What is the difference between me and Alex? Alex said.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. Did you ask me?
Yes.
Yeah, so yes, your $ was after the inverted comma before. Now it is correct. So it should
Awesome.
work.
Awesome. So that is why, and one way to remember it is to see that if the curly braces change the color, then the $ place. Guys, I always make mistakes, so don't push yourself that, hey, I have to remember. If it doesn't work, just place $ before it works. That's how I remember it, okay? And let's just right now run it again and see if it works. Okay, yeah, there we go. So as you see A, where is the thingy? I said right A, where are you? Right, A is 4, but there's one problem. B jumped over there. I have two solutions. Yes, I know one is right line. Let me challenge myself. Guys, without saying right line, fix that code so I can just bring this one to the other. Can you please, this is my code, fix my code. Lovely, Pooja already said. So guys, I'm gonna just use \n here and then run it again. Oh, GT, great runner. So 18, and yes, A is 4, B is, it worked, right? And guys, the thing is, that is fine. B is, what is B? What is B? Oh, I didn't ask B anywhere. B is 12, so it should show you 12. Let me, oh, we have a situation, guys. That's why I have to study before coming to the session. It shows 18. Oh, that's not the only problem. C is, guys, C is 1010. What? It's just, it was hungry bites the 10 part. I give up. Okay. So guys, let's just work on it one at a time. So work on this one. Think about first thing first. What is this guy? I can't understand.
Do we need to convert it to an integer? Is that why it's not working properly?
Okay. Because Michael said something, let me just make sure that everybody knows. Guys, how many of you, in which course you have covered that? COMP100. And what is that course? Math. Okay. So engineering. Okay. Guys, if there is anyone who has no, okay, thank you very much. That's very much nice that if I know that. Is there anyone, and if there is anyone, don't hesitate. I'm gonna say the first person. If you have no clue about binaries, hexadecimal, oct, all these beautiful things, please type 5. Reza is the first one. Is there anyone else? Joseph, you don't have that course by any chance?
I do. I just don't think that we've covered it yet, or unless I'm behind.
Okay. Okay. How about this? A full version that is going to be communication, asking you question and so on and so forth, is going to take something like 1 hour. As a compressed version of it, I try to make it like 20 minutes to 30 minutes. People, now it is 11:27. So for next 20 minutes, I'm going to cover the binary part. If it is something that you have already familiar with, for 20 minutes, you have a chance to go and hang out with friends, family, and so on. I'm going to work on that for those not to get bored from this content. Okay. And after that, we are going to get back to the rest of the topic. If it is fine this time, please give me high five, type 5. Okay, lovely. And I'm very much open to any other opinion. That is what I think is going to be the best for us. So guys, if you look at here, I have provided something that I said convert numbers. And let me just tell you here, hopefully this guy is going to work. I love pen and paper. Okay. Whenever we were in primary school, when they said 125, for example, do you remember primary school? They told us that here we have 5, for instance, pencils, and here we have 2 box of, guys, imagine that it's 10. And here we have 100 bucks. So that's how they showed us in elementary school, kind of thing. So when we had 125, it is the way that we just saw it in elementary school. Later, they told us, you know what? This is ones column, this is tens column, and this is 100s columns. So we have 100, we have 2 multiply 10, and we have 5 multiply 1. Does that make sense, everybody? And later, they even made it a little bit more professional, saying that the first one is 10 to the power of 1, the second one is 10 to the power of 2, and the, sorry, 0. Sorry. How I can say Control Z here? Guys, don't tell anybody. This is 10 to the power of 0, 10 to the power of 1, and 10 to the power of 2. So this is...
I'm able to see, Professor, what you're writing.
Okay, that's good because I made mistakes, so you didn't see that. Good. So everybody is familiar with that, right? My question for everyone is why we learned the numbers. And guys, this is what they call it. Some people say Persian Indian numbers instead of saying 1, Roman numbers 2, 3. Do you remember Al-Khwarizmi? And he brought that kind of new system. But what is the base of using 10? Why we use 10? Joseph, do you have any idea? Oh, why I have my hands on? I don't have any question. Okay. So Joseph, why we use 10?
Is it easier to compute, I guess?
Why we have 10? I give
Because we
you a
have 10 fingers.
Lovely. Yes, because we have 10 fingers, and that is why we use 10. That's easier. So imagine that we go to another planet, Mars, and there are people that they have just 1 finger in each hand. It's going to be kind of scary, but that's how it is, right? And in that case, when they want to count, what is the best system for them?
Ones and twos?
Well, well, they say that we know how to program, so they start from 0.
Right.
Right? So the way that they want to count, it's going to be like, let's just do it like this, 0 and 0. That's which is equal to, imagine that those only the creatures that they have one finger, when they use it like this, it means that 0. And when they say like this, it is what? Tell me. It's going to be 1, which is equal. We can translate this one to 0. We can safely say this is 1. How about this? If they use this finger like that and this one, what's going to be the next number we translated? Tell me. Lovely. So 2 is going to be when this lamp is 1 and this lamp is off. How about this one, guys? We can just guess it should be the third person. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is actually, if we want to go for any higher number, they should bring their friends because they run out of the fingers. So one friend should stay there and use another finger to show what the next number is going to be. So that was 0 till this moment. The next person is going to say 1, 0, 0. Does that make sense? And it's going to be 4, for example. And let me just make it a little bit, yeah. And the next, can you guess what would be the next number? I mean, the way that they show it. Can you please type? Alex, I don't know. I trust you for now, but let's just see. Okay, one thing. This is equal to 4, right? And 4 plus 1. This is equal to 1. So I think this one should be more logical. That's what I think. And how about number 6? Anybody can tell, please? It's going to be 4, and it's going to be 2 and 0 for this. And the last number, let's say 7, which is going to be 4, 2, and 1. Does that make sense, everybody? And let me just make it a little bit close to what we had for numbers. Imagine that these are lamps, and this lamp represents 1, this lamp represents 2, and this lamp represents 4. Everything is clear? So when all the lamps are off, it is going to be 0, right? 0, this one. If lamp 1 is on, but the rest are off, it's going to be 1. If lamp 2 is on and the rest is off, it's going to be 2. If 2 and 1 are on, then it's going to be 3. If 1 for 4, if the lamp 4 is on and the rest is 0, it's going, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? That's like a game. And guys, we know that 1 is nothing but 2 to the power of 0. 2 is nothing but 2 to the power of 1. And 4 is nothing but 2 to the power of 2. And you can simply guess what if we want to have another column. It's going to be 2 to the power of 3, which is equal to 8. So the next number, if you wanted to have 8, for example, it's going to be 1, 8, 0, 4, 0, 2, and 0, 1. Huh? And then the next number is going to be 1, 8, and 1, 1, which is going to make 9. And now we get the answer for one of the questions. When we say 10, 10, it's not 1,000. It is 1, 8, and 1, 2, and the total is going to be 10. This is in binary. And if we get back to the code that we had, not this one for sure, here, Did I copy it by any chance? Control, is this one? Control C. Yeah. Yeah. If we see that here we have binary 10, 10, and that is why when we see the result, it's going to say C is 10, because this is in Mars planet, and this is on Earth that we use 10, right? So if everyone can relate to that, scroll down. Which part?
It was scrolled down when you were drawing
Oh, sorry.
at the end.
Sure, I will. Okay, this one, right?
Yeah, if you were just to scroll down so we could see what you did after 7.
Oh, yeah. So let's just have a little bit of. Doesn't make sense. And the other thing is, actually, I provided specifically to elaborate more on that is an Excel file that you can see. I mentioned convert numbers. That is 0 to E. If you double click on, if you download and double click on it, and we go there and we get to this part, this is what we actually had. I said, for instance, 256. It is nothing but these. This is what we already covered. And actually this one, the lamp thing that I said, 1, 2, 4, 8. It is 2 to the power of 0 and so on and so forth. Everybody? So technically, if you want to understand what is this guy in our language, you're going to say 1, 1. So I'm going to say 1. 1, 2, so it's going to be 2. 1, 4, it's going to be 4. And 1, 8. So let me just say equal to sum when all the lamps are on, it is equal to 15. And actually, if you see in front of it, I said 15 when it is decimal system. Does that make sense, Joseph?
Kinda, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Okay, awesome. Let's contemplate for a second. So this is the question, and I made it blue kind of thing for everyone to see that. And I want you to think of this, please. Imagine that we go to another planet, let's say Jupiter, for instance, and the creatures that we find are the people there, they have 8 fingers in each hand. So when they want to count the numbers, guys, they're gonna say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then again, 8, 9. Instead of 10, they say A, B, C, D, E, and F. Did you get that? So instead of having 5 fingers in each hand, we go to a planet that they have 8 fingers in each hand, right? So if they start counting from 0, they go all the way 0 to 9, and then instead of 10, they say A, you see here, they say B, they say C, D, E, F. Does that make sense? Why we use this format? Because we don't have any shape to show their own system. We just make a convention for ourselves because we want to communicate with Jupiterian, what do we call people in Jupiters? So we want to communicate with those people in Jupiter, and then whenever they say A, we understand that it means 10 in our language. Does that make sense? So Michael, step-by-step calculating, right? Lovely.
So Reza, does, like, let's say, for example, with what we see now, if you go up to like 16, for example.
Oh boy, that's the trouble. When we get to 16, the 2 hands in Jupiter is not enough, right?
So So from my understanding, from the columns that you have from 8 to 1, these are standard, these are consistent, they don't change, especially with also the hexadecimals up to 15. And then if we think about the lamp concept, that's how you get the value, correct?
Correct, absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Joseph,
Okay.
help me. If in our system we have 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, all the way to 9. So the last finger represents 9 when we have 10 fingers, because it's going to be a start from 0.
Yeah.
So when we want to say, okay, now I need another hand, another pair of hands, actually the next friend should help me to count more numbers. I say, okay, Reza, close all your hands. Next friend, show the first number.
Yeah, which is what?
So it's going to be 1, 0, because Reza, can you please help me for that? And people can just see that, because now we are. So imagine, bring your hands and just have your your pinky. Thank you. Just pink, just 1. Yeah, pink. So it's going to be 1, and Reza shows 0. So it's going to be 1 zeros, and everybody in our planet call it 10.
Okay.
So if I imagine that, guys, if you see Joseph on the left side, it's going to be mathematically correct. So you see that it's going to be 1, and Reza 0, 0. It's going to exactly be this part. But now we go to a planet that people over there, they have 16 fingers. So it's going to be 0 all the way to 15, or what they call it F. And if you need another person, if you need to go up, for instance, for 16, what is your guess? It means that, hey, pinky finger and Reza's gonna show 0, so it's gonna be 1, 0. But 1, 0 in that planet, guys, it's not 10. It is what we have 16 in our planet. Does that make sense? You might say, Reza, you lost me. You have all the right to say that. Let me show you something here. How about getting back to our beloved example? Just quickly. It is going to be ones, tens, and 100. When I say 132, you know what does it mean? In that planet, we are going to have 1, 16, and 16 to the power of 2, which is going to be 256. Does that make sense? So listen to me. If I say 3 here and 0, 0, still it's going to be 3, 1. I'm sorry. It is going to be 3, 1 plus 0 plus 0, which is going to be exactly the same as our number. But the problem starts from here. When they say, let's start from 10, what's going to happen? It is going to be 0, 1 plus 16 plus 0. So when we say 1, 0 in Jupiter, it is equal to 16 in our planet. Because this lamp is off, this lamp is off, the lamp for 16 is on. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Everybody could relate to that? Guys, if you scroll down, okay. Viduran, everything is clear?
So Reza, if the 1, 0 changed to say 2, 0.
Awesome, lovely. I'm gonna have some examples. So let's say 2, 0.
It would be
It's
32.
going to be 32. Lovely, yes.
Got it. Okay, makes sense now. Makes sense.
Let me just convert binary to decimal and so on and so forth. There is one. If you just type convert binary to decimal, everybody, you're gonna see one is rapid tables. And imagine that I say hexadecimal. The question that who asked? Joseph was kind enough to ask. If I say from hexadecimal 32, I'm sorry, 20, not 20, in hexadecimal, convert it, look at here, it says 32. Does that make sense? So always use this cheat sheet to quickly find out. Guys, if things are getting a little bit better, if we got more than 50%, give me high five. And that is what I expect for now, 50%. Let's see the names. Okay, those friends that they cannot relate to. Klana, what is the question that you might have? Munib, you as well. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Alwani. Okay. Ali Ahmed, how about you? Okay, awesome. Let's just quickly go to one part together. Getting to this part, you see that after this one, you might say, Reza, what do you mean? But you see these columns, and if I go to convert to, here you see, for instance, it's going to be 1, 0. We are talking about when we have only these two lamps, 1s and 16s. You can simply guess, look at this, and look at the formula that I have. Let me just double click. Do you see that this is 8 multiply 1, and this is 16 multiply, sorry, this is 5 multiply 16. Do you see this? Okay, I want everybody to calculate F2. What is this in our language? Can you please give me the answer in the chat box? What is F2 in our language? Please take your time. Muhammad Alwani said. Okay. And can you please show me your calculation as well? How you come up with that number? Don't. Don't, Muhammad. I like your honesty, but yeah. So look at this one. This is not complex. What is F? Look at this one. What is F in decimal numbers?
15.
15, lovely. So instead of F, I'm gonna say 15. Multiply what? Can you tell me?
16.
16, lovely. Plus, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's gonna be 16 multiply 15 plus, what is the other number? 2 multiply what? 1. Does that make sense? And if I press enter, it's going to show you 242 as our friend said. And look at this one. Let's go use this solution. I'm gonna say F2 and please convert it, and it's gonna just give you the same result to double check. Okay, so as the next practice, I want you please find 2, 3A. What is this number? So everybody, and remember on top of this column should be 256 or 16 to the power of 2. So please calculate 23A. Pooja said 570. And don't worry, guys, there is no wrong or right. What matters is trying. Harvier. Two, 3A. Jules, Cesar, Ali Ahmed, Evan. Okay, let me just try my best. This is going to be 2 times 256, and this is going to be 3 times 16, and this is going to be simply 10 because A is 10. And this one is going to be sum of all these numbers. And as you can just get, it's going to be lovely, Joseph. Thank you very much. Actually, you're the one who had question at the beginning, and you're the one who just gave the most complete answer. Bravo. Okay.
The one thing I don't understand is how do we get 512?
500, because we have 256. That
Yeah.
is from that part.
Got it.
Right? Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Yeah. So by saying that, let me just, now we can get back to this part. So when we say 1010, it is not 1010, it is 1010 in binary that we learned how to. And let me just tell you, when I was student, we had in bachelor, I had this always problem that when I wanted to calculate, and we were not allowed to use scientific calculators. So what I did, the easiest job, I converted all hexadecimal numbers to binaries, and I did calculations to binaries. And guess what? This is the easiest to divide the numbers 4 and just convert them like this to hexa. So converting from hex to binary is a piece of cake. Converting binary to hexa is a piece of cake. So I was lazy. I always converted hexadecimal numbers to binaries, did the calculations there, and finally convert. I just divided. Let me just tell you what I mean. For instance, I want to add A and B together. Very simple. So what I did was, okay, what is A? It is this. It is going to be 1, I'm sorry, 1 0 1 0. Everybody accept that? And the B is going to be what? 1 0 1 1. Then I did the calculation saying that 1 plus 0, it is going to be 1. 1 plus 1, it is going to be 2, which is going to be 1 0 like that, right? And 1 together is going to be another 2, I'm sorry, which is going to be like this. Am I right? So this part, the first, and imagine that I'm going to make 0 0 0. Guys, it is recorded, so don't worry if you cannot follow. But can you please tell me what is this part? What is this part in here? You can find it here, which is going to be 5 in hexa. So I'm going to just say that is 5. And what is this one? This part in here. It is 1. So in hexadecimal, it is going to be what?
15?
15. Does that make sense? So let me and in other words, look at this. This is 10 and this is 11. So 11 plus 10 in our system is going to be 21. And we need to convert that 21 to see if Reza could calculate it correctly or not. So I'm gonna come here and I say, please from decimal, convert it to hexa, what is it? 21, and convert it, and it's going to show you 15. Does that make sense? Don't worry if you didn't get the last part. I just say I was lazy. When I faced hexadecimal, the first thing that came to my mind, I converted to binary, do the calculations in binary because we just deal with. For instance, if I tell you A plus B, it is not that easy for our brain to calculate because we always learned how to calculate in decimal numbers. So I convert it to binary, do the calculations, and bring the result for 4 digits for the first part, 4 digits for the second part, and it gives the answer. You might say, Reza, you lost me, and I need more material to work on it. And that is why we have 0 to F. If you go there, I'm not going to spend. The first part is exactly the calculator that we worked with. You see, this is the link. The second one, explanation, thoroughly explained by a nice gentleman, 22 minutes. If you got confused, the blame is on me. And you can see here, for instance, converting from decimal to binary. You see here, converting to binary to decimal, hexa to binary, binary to hexadecimal. All those videos, if you think that you need more context and you need more material to. And I'm telling you, if you sum them up, it's going to be something like 2.5 hours. But guys, we spent something like 1.5 months to learn those concepts. So it's really worth it. And you got the gist of it. The next question that you might say that, who uses this? Reza, come on, we want to have something applicable. The question is valid, but the answer is if you open the hood and you want to see how the engine in computer works, they use binary numbers. And if somebody asks you that, hey, what was the first language, you know where it has come from. Because the logic that computer can understand is what? Zeros and ones. And that is why we have those conversions. And the other thing, guys, just tell me yes or no. Do you think that instead of having just 2 hands that has 2 fingers, if we could have a computer that had several hands with several fingers, wouldn't it be faster to do calculations?
Yes.
That is exactly yes, Michael, exactly. That is the that's the basis for quantum computing. And you have recently heard about the things that they said millions of times faster, and they need to reconsider the protocols for encrypting because now almost everything is breakable with quantum computing.
It's not much faster. It's going to be instantaneous, right?
That would be just wow, millions of times faster. So that's crazy. But anyway, Alex, the whole idea is to relate to that when we say that, okay, why quantum computing, which is going to be a future, is faster because it's not going to use binary. And it's going to, if we don't have those concepts, how could we relate to the advancement in the field? I just cover it as much as we need to relate to those kind of things. And now please spend individually or with your friends, go through this code, spend 2-3 minutes. I'm gonna close my mic and video. I'm gonna come back in 2 minutes. I want you to spend time, just copy this part. Let me just say it works pretty fine. The same way if you bring it here, Control V, and if you run it, I want you to see what is happening in each line. Just go through it. I'm gonna close my mic and the camera.
So anyone has an idea what we're looking at?
Are you asking or offering to explain?
I was asking. My first instinct is that it converts the number to hexadecimal binary, but that's wrong.
So you mean like where we're getting like when we output our final like A plus B?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the hex and all that we already know is they're still numbers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the computer understands them. Well, I know that's a horrible explanation. I got no juice today, but yeah, they're numbers already. So that's actually a really bad example.
So the output doesn't matter based on which number you give it. So if you enter age, the code does nothing with that. So each line is separate. It has nothing to do with the input. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right, guys. Everything is kind of clearer, and if that is the case, let me tell you. I received one comment from Reza that it was too fast. My suggestion is, please watch the videos that I have provided. I told you that this is a kind of half of the original presentation because many of us are already aware of that. Joseph, is it 70% clear?
Yeah.
Awesome. So if Reza still needs to intensify the concept, my suggestion is watch those videos, and then come back. And if there is any still question, by all means, I'm gonna just answer. So the problem that I started was this one, which said 1, 2. Can anybody tell in this 1, 2 if I have? There you go. If I have here 1, 2, what does it mean? It means, tell me, 1 times what?
1 times 16.
16.
Oh, lovely. Plus 2
Two.
times 1, or just 2, which is going to 18. So that is why we had that. And the other one, which was 10, 10. Now we know that it is this one, 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, and 1, 8. So 2 and 8 is going to make 10 in decimal number. So now I think that the code is clearer for us. And then there is nothing except this one which says D is equal to A. And what is the answer for that? What? 65. Okay, guys, look at this one. Why my hands is, I don't have any question. Why my hands is always, at least for now. Okay, so look at this one. If this is the key, please. I press the Alt key. And then type 65. And then it's going to show, let me just show you something here. In there. Okay. I'm gonna press Alt and then 65. And then you see that capital A. Do you see this? Everybody? I repeat it again. So with the numeric pad, I'm gonna just say it's like this, //. Press Alt, say 65 capital A, 66 capital B. Can you imagine that? We had one student. He had a broken laptop, some keys were missing, so he used this trick to just, for instance, type A, type B, and these kind of. That was funny, but it was helpful to remember all those ASCII codes. So now if I press Alt and I press Alt 97, it's going to be small a, 98 is going to be small b, and so on. So you see that pressing Alt, this means what? When you say A, computer cannot understand what is A. Computer is going to convert it to, well, technically first 65, but 65 is going to convert it to binary. That is going to what means to computer. So whenever we type anything, it's going to convert it to an ASCII code. Well, I know that you might say Unicode. Okay. The very basic one, ASCII code. These are the ASCII codes behind each letter. Does that make sense now? Everybody, please try, and it's not going to work with the top part. It's going to work with only numerical part of the keyboard, please. Yes, this part of the keyboard.
I do not have a numpad.
Pardon?
I don't have a numpad on my keyboard.
This is the only part that you need to trust.
Got it. I trust.
Awesome. So people, please, in the chat, everybody, please type 112 with Alt and see what's going to happen, and 102, and it's going to see what's going to happen. So different things. Lovely, lovely. So you see that. And how about the lower numbers? If I say Alt 88, you just click Alt 88. This is what I know. It's going to be okay. So let's go to the next together. Let's go to the next slide. And it said that I can't understand this one. What is this number? Okay, we talked about the data types. We said, what if an integer has 2 bytes or 16? Look at this. If I say 2 to the power of 16, it's going to give me 65,000 and so on. What if I say 2 to the power of 32? Look, this is going to be this number. Please, everyone, Google, ChatGPT, whatever you use, Google is more than enough. What is the range in C# in 32, in int 32? Sorry, it should be int 32. Please ChatGPT that. What is the range? Please type it. Lovely, Kevin. Merci. Merci. But It has nothing to do with this number in the first glance, but look at this one. If I say that number is divided by 2, it's exactly the number that Kevin, Mohammed, Alex, and everybody said. This is the Puja, Farhina. So you see that this is going to be the negative part, and the positive part is 1 less because we have 0 and that amount of numbers. Does that make sense? So the negative is going to be 648, the last 3 digits, but the positive part is going to be 647 plus 0. It's going to make it 648. Does that make sense? Okay, if you shift the number and if you say u int, it's going to be exactly this number from 0 all the way to, from 1 all the way to that. Excellent, Goma, thank you. Guys, did you get the idea? Okay, so let's go to the next PowerPoint together. Next slide, sorry. How about this? What does it mean when I say 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2, 3? Everyone, if you please go to the code that we have, D part, you scroll down, it's going to be 9. I want you please copy this. I have forgotten to have. This is why Alex, this one that I'm going to make a zip file is going to be a better version. So copy this one, Control C. And run. And this time I want you guys, exactly the time that I was not in the class, step in, talk about what you understand from this. Okay, anyone wants to step in and explain? Sean, can you open your mic and start explaining if you don't mind?
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, please.
Awesome. So the first line there, console.writeLine, it turns, so it outputs to the console the integer 1, 2, 3. So it turns that into a string, and then it adds the string 1, 2, 3, and it puts them together. The second line there concatenates a blank string with nothing in it to the integer 1, 2, 3. So it also turns the integer to a string. The third line takes the string reza, and it adds the integer 1, 2, 3, and it turns the 1, 2, 3 into a string as well. And then for the double A, so it converts the integer 3, 2, 1 into a double, into the A variable, and then it outputs that. But since it doesn't have any decimals, it just outputs it 3, 2, 1, the same. For the double B, it also passes it into a double, but it's also just an integer, so it's 6, 5, 7. So it doesn't add any decimal or anything. And then for the character C, it converts the integer 65 to a character, which outputs as the character capital A, and then it outputs that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I want to tell you a few things. Imagine that you have a question like that, and I emphasize to use ChatGPT for this one. And I'm going to say, dear ChatGPT, please provide problem statement for the following. Okay? So, good. So now I have problem statement that the answers are those. Look at the funny things. I'm gonna take this one, Control C, and then ask this question again. And I say, please, answer, or please provide the solution for the above statements. I'm sorry, provide is okay. Awesome. Again, I wanted to pause for a couple of seconds, show you this, and there was a reason for that. And it is, I remember the time that I was a student. I was 12 years old when I wrote my first program, and I remember it was with GW Basic, and I ran those on small kind of toy computers we had back then on Commodore 64. And then later we had, Michael, you remember that was a kind of like things that kids loved that. Yeah, I had Spectrum 128. I bought it. And we had Amiga and so on. And guess what? Honestly, in that class, I remember I was the dumbest student. Everybody did the job, and it was very simple. I remember that the frustration that I had, and I was like, why everybody could relate to that and why everybody could understand it, and I'm the only person who cannot follow. But now I'm telling you, after having some classes, I can easily feel that I was not alone. There were some other Rezas there too, but they were silent like me. So those who talked and those who just give the feeling to everybody that, okay, I'm among some genius people, and I'm the only person who don't. Guys, this is not correct. If I see that Reza is not participating, I was. If I can't say that I am still, but for sure I was there. And the thing is, the more that you review, the more that you listen and try to get yourself into this conversations, the more that you start, learning. And that aha moment happens in one day. Another example that is more recent, I remember when I was in bachelor level, I had an option to take AI, artificial intelligence course, yes or no. And I still remember the name of a prof, Ramin Rahnemoon, and he was one of those tough guys. And I was like, okay, I try to avoid it, is optional. And when I graduate, I was about to graduate, it turned to be mandatory course. I was like, yes, I could just skip that prof without dealing with that. Guess what? I came to Canada 2013. I remember that I went and audited a course. The name was data mining. I learned nothing. The second time I went to another prof, the prof was Italian, very great background in math. And it was just mind-blowing. I learned nothing. It was like, AI is not going to be the thing that I'm going to work with. And when I said that, I learned nothing. It's not just sitting there in the class for 2 hours. 14 weeks, 4 hours each week, I was there and I was the dumbest person in the class. Learned nothing. And then I said that, you know what, let's just try one more time. And I went to Dr. Alireza Sadegian's class. Back then they called it Ryerson, Toronto Metropolitan University. And the funny thing is, Dr. Sadegian was the direct student of Geoffrey Hinton, the winner of the Nobel Prize in Physics. Recently, he's Canadian. We are proud to have that from Canada. And 6-7 weeks passed. One aha moment happened and I started learning. And guess what, guys? I end up teaching and being responsible in the college that I'm now working for AI. And it was not 100 years ago. It was just a couple of years ago that I had no clue about AI. You know what I'm saying? So the most important part is don't give up. Just see, playing around, use ChatGPT and the others. Yeah. He's an awesome personality, and we have always this tendency, yeah, that we need to. Yeah, I thought that you're talking about the Jeffrey. We all need to every day. Don't just, guys, don't give up. And I'm sure you're going to play around with the code, with the questions, little by little, and there is a chance. I know that Sentinel is one of the amazing places that you have 4 hours of free tutors per week. There are tons of other resources. And the other thing that I wrote down to emphasize on, if you can just find team members to sit, work on problem statements together and record it and upload it to YouTube, send me the link. I'm going to consider 1% for every 1 hour that you spend together, no matter who manages the session, who participates. It should be at least 1 hour and everybody should participate. And I need to see people. I'm going to just watch it quickly and I'm going to just give 1%. So that's pretty much it. Let's go to the next slide together. The next one is character. And you see here, if you say X, it's a character. Guys, what is this one? Can anybody tell? 5, 6? Anybody? Okay. I have forgotten this. Let's just quickly go there to this column and say, oh, I need to clean them all because I don't want. Okay. Let's just make them a little bit cleaner the way that it was before. Oh, did I add any more stuff? Nope. How about this? So because this is going to be your zip file, let me just get rid of this one as well. So Control S to save, and let's get back to this one. Yeah. Okay. Anybody, what was the number? Can you please tell me? 5, 6. Thank you. So 5, 6. Can anybody tell what is the equivalent number in decimal? You know better than me. It's going to be 5 times 16 plus 6 times 1, which is 6, and it's going to be 86, isn't it? 56. Was it 56 or 58? I'm sorry. So if it is 58, my bad. That it is very simple. It's going to be just 88. Huh? It is going to be 88. And everybody know why it is 88, right? Pooja, can you confirm that it is 88? Maybe say, Reza, I need time. So let's go to this one. Say convert from hexadecimal to decimal. And it was 58. So it converts to 88. And we know we calculated ourselves as well. Guys, if everything is super clear, please type 1. Excellent. And now I bring the keyboard again here. I press Alt key and then 88. Please, Alt 88. Yay, capital X, right? And that is why if you look at the code, both of these numbers, both of them, both of these two numbers, this one X, this one U, they both represent. There's a tiny teeny difference between them, but imagine in both X and when you say U, it means that this number is hexadecimal. You need to convert it to decimal. Does that make sense? So if I just run the code, look at this one. It says A, which was X character. It's going to show you X. Please enter the character. Let's say D. So the character that you have entered is D. Yep, I got it. And this is A, this is B, and this is C. All of them are in hexadecimal, right? Okay, everybody, just change this to something different. Like, let's say B is going to be, is it possible to say, what is the binary of? Let's say the binary of the decimal to binary of 89. Decimal to binary. So guys, please write the code. I'm gonna just bring it to you, to everyone. This is the binary. I want you to write a code to convert this one to a character. From binary to character. Technically, it should show you, yeah, it should show you if I say 89, it should show you Y like that. But I want you please write a code that takes a binary and it's going to convert it to Y. That is the binary code for 89. You're right.
It just takes over. I like type one thing and it's put in a word, and like it happens in Node too. Like it'll import libraries. It's like, no, just let me type my shit. Get away. Like stop. So irritating.
I know. That is why God has created this online compiler. Sometimes it's better. It's not gonna try to guess. Lovely. Okay. Amazing. Proud of you guys. Awesome. Lovely. The simplest one is what, let me just get, as Michael said, let's just get rid of everything. Hopefully, oh boy, I need to say C# online compiler. There we go. So the easiest one is what our team member said. And if I just write that, it's going to show you 89, but I want to convert it to car. So for doing that, what am I gonna do? I'm going to say, hey, convert that to character, right? And if I just do it, it's going to say, why? Does that make sense? This is the simplest. This is a kind of band-aid solution. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know, but I just learned from you, as you see. And the best solution, the winner, is everybody who participates, no matter, as Michael said, no matter if the answer is correct or not. But thank you for the attempts. Let's go to the next part together. So how about this? Guys, do you see that car kind of thing? 108, 106. The code is there. And if you go, please, to this one, slide number 11. Please copy. I didn't have a chance to understand. Somebody explains, and there is something that I'm not familiar at all with. So spend time, especially this one. I can't understand what is happening here. Spend time a bit. And I'm gonna ask Muni to explain that for us. Lovely, Michael. Thank you very much. There is only one problem. The thing is, first we need to mention that this is binary somehow. Then we say convert it to integer, then convert it to character. So we just have that missing part, that how to say this is binary, right? Or we just need to say 0b before that, and then we can. Okay. Everyone. Farhina, can you please explain this to us? And Mr. Cesar, can you please explain that to us? Okay, don't worry, Farhina. Cesar, how about you? Don't worry, just anybody with whatever you see, start guessing and we are going to complete it together. I'm going to start saying that technically, when we say var, means that I'm not confident about the type that we are going to deal with. So we define unknown type, saying that computer, you are responsible to take care of it. Unknown type, let's call the variable car, and it is not any variable, it's a list. It's either a list or array, I'm not sure, and who cares for now. Anyway, so the list ancestor is linked list array data structure that we have indices to. Anyway, so what is this one? Character, when we have single quote. Everybody, when we have single quote, is it a string or character?
The string.
String.
When we have single quote. When we have double, we are talking about C#. In C#, double quote means a string, single quote means character.
Okay, I see.
Write it somewhere, please.
Yeah, because
So-
in Python it's the same, right? It could be double or single. It'll be always
Li-
string.
Life is peachy there. You don't even mind that which one is character. Yeah, true. But here, single quote, character, double quote, string. Okay, whenever we see \u, \x, what does it mean?
I think the X is hexadecimal.
Lovely. Look at the one who answered, the one who said that I have trouble in binary. And now he is the one who give the first answer. Lovely.
Pro star.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome. And whenever we have 006A, honestly, I'm lazy. I go to here, I say, dear hexadecimal, convert it to decimal for me, and it was 6A. And converted, yay, it is 106. So look at the answer, 106, 106, and character of 106. So technically, all of them are the same. And when I say that, run it, please, it is going to show you J, and it's going to show you J, and it's going to show you, yeah, 4 J's. And what is the meaning of this one? Who cares? I don't know. Technically, guys, this is a short format for those who know about loops. You don't need to say that, go to the loop, take every single for each element inside the list or array. It works for both of them. You just give, what do we call it? The name of a list. Let me just, guys, this is, let's say Reza. So it's not a sacred name. You just need to say this one Reza as well, okay? And look at the other thing, join. What if I say 4 dashes and I run it again? Look what's going to be the result. It's going to be J dash 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 J dash 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 J. For now, this is a kind of surprising thing. I don't know either. Don't worry. This is one way when you have a list. You don't bother. Just pass the name of a list array and say, print everything for me. I repeat it. When you have not one variable, when you have several COPs, you put them all in a tray. We can call it array. We can call it list. It really depends. And this using string.join is going to serve all the COPs in a tray, on a tray. That kind of thing. Show me all the elements of what we have inside that. For now, it is more than enough. I intentionally wanted to just show something that we are going to cover in future. But next part, slide number 12. Who is going to be the winner of this game, guys? We have a character. Guys, character means just one tiny thing. And we have a string, who can be 3, 4, any number, even 1. Who's going to be the winner when you have one character and one? Alex?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
By winner, you mean who's gonna take priority, or?
We have 2 things that we want to concatenate. Let me just show it that way to you. I'm sorry. Where are you? Okay, here it is. Let's say we have bar something, which is equal to character A plus 1, 2, 3. And we just concatenate those 2. Now, if I say console write line something dot get type, or what would be the output? This is going to tell you, hey, the winner was character or the winner was string. So guys, if you think that it is character, please type C. If you think that the winner is going to be string, please type S. The winner both take command. It's not like, hey, please, we all winners. It's not kind of. Okay, let's just try it. I don't know actually. Let's see. And now it says string. Does that make sense? Okay. And good. How about the next one? Oh, I'm sorry. This one the same. Even if there is nothing in there, even if there is nothing in here, it doesn't matter. The winner would be string as well. A null string plus something, still the winner. That's the point of the next slide. And how about converting to double? Uh-oh. Is it going to convert that to double? Yes or no? What do you think?
I think yes.
Let's just see. So what was it? Imagine that something is this, and I'm gonna say convert dot to double. Yeah. And then let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, guys, we have a situation here. Okay, let me just do another thing. What if I just say, you know what, double, I'm sorry, double kind of thing. And let's just print, what do we call it? Console, that's right line, but not to string. Just say something. Is it going to show something? Isn't it strange? When you say, guys, this is a very delicate point. If you say convert dot to double, it doesn't work. But if you use type, that is explicit conversion. This is implicit typecasting. In that case, it works. If someone wants to tease you in any interview, that's the question that they're gonna ask. But can we use them interchangeably in all the cases? And this is the example that I want you to write it somewhere. If I use this one, it's going to raise error. I'm going to answer your question, Alex, in a second, right? But when I do the typecasting, it's going to work. And now I have one more challenging question for you guys. Let's just make it zero again. Guys, clients are the gods. We need to please the requests. If they say, no, you have to use Oracle for me, I don't care, because the competitor uses the same. Hey, for you, SQLite is more than enough. No, Oracle. You have to just follow and imagine that you have a lousy client called Reza and said that use double. I don't care. I want to have conversion, not casting. Make it work.
Instead of converting to double, you would convert to a hexadecimal?
No, I'm saying that this line is going to give you error, right? just add something into that you're not going to get any error. I don't know how, but make it.
Maybe you add double quotation instead of single quotation, making it into a string? I'm guessing.
Good guess. Try it. And guys, please, 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 there is no competition. Don't use ChatGPT for this. This is how we are going to make muscles. Do it yourself. Try to guess everything that we learn. And it is among the things that we learn. Double bracket. Double quote, you mean? Something like this. Oh, shoot. No. Sorry, that failed. Another attempt. Just give me a second. See? And by the way, I remember that you had a question, Alex. Can you please?
That was my question. If we, instead of converting it to double, if we said convert to hexadecimal, would it work?
Unfortunately, no. But let me ask you one thing. Did we use convert dot to, I'm sorry, to int 32 before? Did we use that before?
Yeah, we used it for our lab.
Okay, so let me just see the number of parentheses that I opened. 1, 2, and 1, 2. So now how about this? Technically, I convert this thingy first into integer, right? And then I convert, look at this one, then I convert the integer into double, which is acceptable. So can we say that casting, when you use parentheses, is going to merge these two together and make that type casting? Yes. And if you didn't understand what we did now, no worry at all. This is like very advanced points, but it is based on what we learned today. So if you think that there are things that I could not relate to, watch the video again. Excellent. Michael said a nice way of casting it. One is using int, or instead of lovely, Michael, yes. Instead of using this one, you could simply say first convert it to typecast it to integer kind of thing. And then this works equally fine because the output of that guy is going to be an integer, not parentheses, and it's going to listen. Whenever you deal with these kind of things, at the beginning, it's like a yarn that just had lots of knots. But later it converts to a pizza dough for you that you can shape it the way that you enjoy. So you're going to just play around with it. Okay, it doesn't work. Then I'm going to do that conversion. Then now it works. It doesn't. I'm going to try another trick and I try to make it work. I'm going to make it work. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to find you and I'm going to make you work. That kind of thing. Okay, so let's go to the next thing together. Double. Now we have already covered most of the things here. And now if you go, please, you're going to see, hey, Reza, it's redundant. That was intentional. So please, everybody, find the part that said slide number 12. Control C. Let's quickly see if we have covered everything here. You see the winner of this game is going to be string. We all know that. If we convert, it is equal to say convert that to string and then concatenate those two. The same for x, we know we can just, if we say double and show it to me, it's going to do implicit, guys. Why this C works? Tell me why this one works. And if you say C, it's going to show you 88. This is the one. Why this one works? Because it automatically do the typecasting. One important thing, Kevin, in this course, we are not going to use implicit typecasting. I want every one of you to be in charge of finding appropriate typecasting, explicit one. So don't leave it that it's going to find a way. I want you to know what you're doing and don't leave it to computer. You know what I'm saying? So this is work. Do you remember that how many characters we typed to make this one work while it works? So this one is what we tried and it didn't work. But the other one saying that, what do we call it? Cast. It's going to work. How about this one? Convert this one to integer. This is what we did. First, we converted to integer. Then we converted the integer to double. It worked as well. You remember that? Okay. It is in 2 lines. What I did just only, I compressed it into 1 line. How about this EF? So we have both values. Yep. Integer I, this is super obvious. So we just have, what is J? If I say double of X, this is better to be here. Oopsie. Okay. And give me a second, please. I want to just make sure that I have covered everything. Control V. Okay. Yes. Int X. The next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Guys, we only have 25 minutes almost. Let's make the best out of it. Double. Is it going to work? Who's going to be the winner of this game? Double to other types. Tell me, who's going to be the winner? Double or string? Please type D if double. Please type. So do not use var for everything. That's the best. Yeah. That's the best way. It's better to, we use var when we are not sure about the type. We are going to talk about it. We have a specific session for that. I mean, part of session. So string, lovely. The same for this one. Guys, what is this? I can't understand this one. What is going to be the output of this? Everybody, please, without running it, don't type the code. Just type the guess. My guess, it's going to be high 1.3 E5. This is going to be the output. Alex says the same. Lovely. We are going to try it and see if it is the same way. I think that it should be, but let's just. Michael Goody said yes. How about the rest? Let's make sure then to celebrate. Okay, who else? And by the way, what is this? What does it mean? Joseph. Okay, what does it mean? Kevin, can you please, guys, Kevin is the smart guy while at the same time silent always.
No,
Okay.
I think it would mean mathematically 1.3 to the power of 5 if I'm reading it right, but
What does it mean? It means that this is the scientific way of showing 1, 3, 0, 0, 5 zeros after it.
I said exponent to power, but I use the E as 5, but I'm not 100% sure about the E representation right now.
Okay.
Because it might be, because I looked at it as X before, but it can't be X because of the way it's written, but it's I thought it was just a notation.
Okay, so 1.3 times 10, times 10 to the power of 5, that kind of thing.
That's what I would read it as if it's
Okay, good. Thank you very much. And based on what you said, let's just try this one. Everybody go to the slide, or we can go to the code slide number 13. Where is this? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna just borrow this part. Control C, and I'm going to say Control V. So, and we are going to run the code, and ta-da! Oh boy, I'm wrong. As Kevin correctly said, it means that 1.3 multiply 10 to the power of 5. So first the conversion happens, real number, and then concatenates. Does that make sense? Whoever could get that, please give me high five, type 5. Awesome. Lovely. Bravo, bravo. Okay. Let's go to the next part. Is there anything that we are not aware of? Okay, guys, please tell me. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, thank you. One question. Always, please say true, false. Always, when I say int casting, and when I say convert to integer, they're going to give the same results, 100%. If you agree, please type T for true, type F for false. Alex, please. Why? Everybody said false?
Well,
Why? Yeah.
like you just said, if it was written as 1.3 E5, it's not going to show the exact result. They will convert it to the actual number. So it'll be
Okay.
1.3 and 5 zeros.
Lovely. My question was something a bit different. I'm gonna answer it again. I'm gonna ask it again. And that question is, if we use int here, while the number is 3.123, what I missed, the number of parentheses. Hey, come on, Reza. Okay. I'm saying this one works exactly like the time that if I say convert dot to int 32. Can you please say console? Okay. So if I type that and I ask, it's going to show you both threes, which are fine. My question was that, guys, is it clear now? So I asked the question again, and you have a chance to correct after this. Okay, so 100 times, whenever we have cast and convert, they work exactly similar. So Alex said T. How about Joseph?
I think also true.
True, okay. You know, now matcha tea is going to help you giving the correct answer. Awesome, Joseph. How about Pooja? How about Michael? Goma? True, false?
I'm gonna say true.
True.
So
Okay.
Reza, how come it works here now but didn't work with double and string?
That's one of I'm talking about this specific case. I'm talking about when you want to convert what do we call it? You want to convert decimal points to integer, they work the same way. Okay, how about this, guys? Can you please try this one, 67, 3.67, and run the code again? Uh-oh. I'm sorry. So one of the things that we can see here is the first conclusion. Don't trust me. So it doesn't work exactly the same way. Whenever you use int, it's going to truncate, show you the floor. But whenever you say convert that to integer, it's going to round it. If it is above 5, it's going to round it up. If it is 3 point something less than 5, it's going to round it down to the floor. Does that make sense?
Glory. Okay.
Everyone? Yeah? Exactly. I intentionally wanted you to just see the tiny, teeny differences that we have. Okay? Deceived is a kind of very strong. I prefer tricked. Okay, awesome. So you see that they are not 100% equal. So there are cases that this goes this direction and the other one goes to the other direction. Let's get back to the questions that I asked you. So everybody knows that. Now, can you please try this and look at the result? Do I have it? It's slide number 14. Yeah, there we go. That is something that I just expanded last night. And I thought that it is easier to read. Let's just see. So the first one you see here, we set A. So A is going to show let me just run it. So I'm gonna go fast forward for those that are familiar for us. Nothing new in A, so it's gonna convert to string. The B, the same string. This one, that's the question that I asked you, and you were kind to help me that A first is going to convert it to this number, and then it's going to concatenate. And the C shows that for 3.21, yes, to int is going to show you 3, but int casting is going to show you 3. But if you say to int, my apologies, to int 32 and to int, but for this one, it's going to round it up. But if you use int for both of these two, it's going just to truncate, right? I here, if you say car, what do we call it? Character 65.4, it is going to show you A. And I wish now I'm going to complete it. So how about J? If I use 65.6, let's run this too, and you're gonna see that For both of them, it's going to consider yes, because it's exactly like the example that we had a few seconds ago. But what if I'm going to yeah. Can you please, Michael, would you please kindly check if there's anything I missed in my code, and everybody else as well? Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Yeah, that's my bad. Apologies. So let's see if I run this and quickly let's just, oopsie. That is what we practiced a few minutes ago. So first I have to say convert dot to int 32. Control C, and then I have to say convert to this, and int convert to int Reza. Come on, all of us are hungry, right? So there we go. So you see the difference shows up here because what actually happens for this one, it is less than 4, so the conversion is going to first convert it to 65, and then the character of that is going to be what you already know. But for this one, it is going to first round it up, and then the character of that is going to be 66, which is B. That's tiny, teeny differences that we have. So I'm going to, Alex, I think that this one is more, detailed definition of what we did. So if I just replace it, I think it is going to be more substantial. Okay. The funny thing is, the hardest part was up to this point. Now, if we go to slide number 15, it talks about other types that we have. We mostly, I can say 95% of the time, we use int32, we use double, sometimes float, and we rarely use for the other types. And even Boolean values, I think that Michael is from the same school. We prefer to use zeros and ones instead of using that. It's easier to handle. Anyway, sometimes it works the way that you expect, sometimes doesn't. But anyhow, if you say convert reads line, if someone is married or not, guys, everybody, this is Narendra's example. So please go to slide number 17. 16, sorry, and copy that. And this is super easy. We say that, did she marry him? If I say true, the story was happy. So yes, finally, they married each other. And if you say true, that's the answer, the conversion of what we got, and we just write it here. The thing is, A is equal to true. So if you type, it's going to show you true. And if you say, but it is not possible to add false and trues. We use other things that we're going to learn next week. Let's go to the, guys, is there any question? True and falses? Joseph, it's like very simple. It's like our daily speech. Did I said something correct? You say true, or if not, you say false. It's exactly the same thing. You cannot say, okay, Reza, you said today is Saturday, true, plus you said tomorrow is Monday. I cannot just add these two together. I can judge it, but not in this system. There should be another mechanism for it. We're going to learn about, talk about it later. Let's go to slide number 17. Here, guys, who's going to be the winner? Always a string. And that is why if you go down here, slide number, I'm going to just quickly say, lovely, yeah. I'm talking about and or. If we say true plus 15 and not the null string plus false, the winner is going to be always string. So it's going to just show you that. Always, guys. Winner of a string, integer, string. Winner of string, character, string, right? That kind of thing. So, and the next slide is going to be the summary. What I wanted to get to is to make sure that we get to this part all together. And then you have the sufficient knowledge to attack problems in assignment number 2, the first one or the alternative one. Feel free to choose either of them, or if you want to work both of them. So understanding data type is crucial in mastering the semantics of a language. And that is going to be a cumbersome process. Converting, guys, for instance, we don't have any string to string conversion, obvious. But is it possible to convert character to string? We saw that, whether you say convert to string or just plus nothing. I mean, double quote, it's going to convert it. Do you see this? It says that join a string, even if it is double quote, it's going to convert it. Is it possible to convert double into character? Convert to car, if there is, and so on and so forth. I personally do not memorize that. I get to a problem. I see that it doesn't work. Some of them work, they work in this language, not in Java, the other way around. I just see that you don't need to remember this conversion things. The next one is using decimal. And for decimal, intentionally, I have provided one example for you. And I asked you, there's no time. I wanted to have a time for brainstorm, but I provided in a new version for financial and monetary calculations for higher precision. We use decimal. The difference between decimal, apart from being more precise, is having n when you want to define at the end. You see this, everybody, if you go to the code in a slide number 21, you can find it. Slide number 20. Yeah, 2021, they're both the same. So please, everybody, copy that part, Control C, bring it to, you see, mostly I used this time Visual Studio. So if you say 3.4 M, it is obvious that's decimal. If you say 3, if you say this one, even the character literal works, and you can just simply run and see how it works. So 3.4, 3, what is this? Converted to 51? Okay, guys, I'm going to bring the keyboard here. Let's just stop it. I hold Alt and type 5.1, and it's going to show you character 3. Does that make sense? So that is why it is going to show you that way. A little fast forward, I know, but let's go to the most important slide. So there's nothing new, just that thingy. Here is the most important thing. Whenever you use interpolation, use $sign. The code is in 23. Oh, sorry, in here. 22 or 23. So I'm going to just copy this part in the slide as well. And I'm going to bring this one. And everybody, can you please help me to understand what is happening here? I'm going to run the code. Look, whenever you say 2.5 colon C, it's going to show you what? The currency. And it goes back to the setting that you have in Windows. If you want to show pound, for instance, or any other sign, you have to go and change the currency in Windows. If you see that it goes before, and whenever it is negative, it uses parentheses, all of them are following the settings in your Windows. So if you just work, you run that in another friends who's from Hong Kong, and you see that they show different result, the reason is that. Look at the next one. When you say D, actually, it is going to fill up. It is the best for writing a program for checks. So it is going to put zeros and fill up the whole thing 5 digits. So before 25, add zeros. Does that make sense, everybody? The next one, when you say E, that is what I learned from, I don't know, Alex, Joseph, or one of our team members, or Kevin. Oh, Kevin. And it is going to convert that to 2.5 multiply 10 to the power of 5. So it shows you the scientific format of the numbers. Do you see this? What if I have 25 and I want to say, hey, it is not 25 rounded from any number like 25.2. It is 2500. So in that case, I'm going to say, show me the decimal point F float with 2 numbers. If you want to have 25 showing no decimal point, you say F0, not 2, for instance, right? How about this? G is, yeah, exactly. G is going to be like general format, which is going to be just 2.5 without anything. And how about this? If you use N, it's a kind of divided, it's going to use a division, comma, every 3 numbers, every 3 digits. And this one is a piece of cake for you. I have forgotten how to calculate one. It says X, it shows that it is what? I'm going to use this one and saying, what is this? Decimal, please, to hexa. And I'm going to say 250 and convert it. And it's going to be FA. That is why you see it is FA. And if you say 0xFFFF, it is from hexadecimal, and it's going to show you in hexadecimal. And by saying that, look at the time, and it is exactly 1:20. The last slide just tells you that interpolation is using that $sign that we have already covered at the beginning of the session. When you have anything and you want to bring any variable inside a string without any need to converting it to string, you are going to use interpolation. That's what we have covered. Guys, thank you very much. This is pretty much for today. I'm very happy that we finished the whole thing. I couldn't imagine that we can make it all together. And now please just feel free to pick any of those, and the submission folder is there. To spend just 1 minute, quickly go through those and see if you have any question, any concern. My pleasure, Goma. If there is no question, no concern, I don't see any hands up. I'm gonna stop recording. Thanks for watching it later, and thanks for being in the session actively and nicely like today. Have a wonderful one. Take care of yourself. Stay warm. Bye. Ciao.
Bye, Reza. Bye, everyone.